Welcome back, legends. I'm Joel Slate-Cairns, and this is the 3CIR podcast where we turn lived experience into forward momentum. I'm parked across the mic from my mate, Ryan Jury Delaney. How you travelling, Jury?
Always good, mate. Coffee in hand, boots on, brain engaged. And if you're new here, you found the show built by Veterans for Veterans, emergency services, and anyone who wants to level up with recognition of prior learning and online study that actually fits your life. 3CIR isn't just a logo, it's courage, commitment, camaraderie, integrity, and respect. Those 5 words aren't on a wall to look pretty, they're our marching orders.
Exactly. We're proud ADF veterans, and 3CIR came out of that gut-level desire to help our own make a clean, confident transition, because we've lived the gap between the uniform and the next chapter. We know what it feels like when the civvy world doesn't speak your language yet.
Which is perfect for today because we're digging into a story that starts Green Beret and ends with entrepreneur vision. It's a ride, networking, ego checks, ATS black holes, a gut punch of loss, and then rebuilding from pizza boxes to boardrooms. And yep, we're going to make it practical if you're on a commute or tossing plates at a job you don't love. Hang with us.
Let's kick off with a skill every veteran needs to get good at fast: networking. I can hear the eye rolls, but hear me out. Networking isn't suits and name tags, it's saying, "G'day," making a call, sending a message, and doing that consistently. Every day you meet someone new, unless you're hiding in Siberia. And for a while, networking was a passive action in our mate's story. He kept piling work on, stayed busy, and then chance did what chance does.
The gig? Selling part-time for Rand brands, nano-infused CLP for firearms, proper niche. He signs up and runs into Josh, another former Special Forces guy. They'd never met in person, but they were swapping strategies over the phone like they'd shared a patrol base. Talking sales, business, life. That's the brotherhood, right? You don't need to see the face to know the fibre.
And that's the first real takeaway. If you're newly out, don't judge your network by who you physically see. Tap into your unit associations, LinkedIn groups, 3CIR's community, RSLs, your old training cohort. Passive networking is real. You don't need weekly coffee dates to build trust. Keep showing up, share good information, be useful, and the web starts forming around you.
We're going to circle back with a simple 3-step network translate iterate playbook later. Leave that tab open in your brain, because that translate piece, that's where so many of us get hammered.
Our Green Beret mate thought the same thing I thought leaving the regiment. I'll crush uni, I'll crush the job search, because I was built for hard. Then he sits in a community college classroom in Fayetteville and gets assessed on the colour of his binder dividers. Not strategy, not execution, not mission results, divider colours.
That'll humble a bloke. 1 week, you're an autonomous, tactical decision maker trusted with people's lives. Next week, you're told to sit, tick the box, and wait for the bell. If you felt your ego crack a little in that environment, you're not broken. You're normal, and it's why patience becomes your first new discipline. Patience and perspective. You don't have to love it, but you do have to play the game.
And here's the irony he clocked. Academically, uni was a breeze compared to the Special Forces qualification course. Different pain. He's knocking down A's and B's, and then he decides, right, I want to work while I study. And that's where the wheels start wobbling. Job sites, endless applications, the dreaded silence. He realizes he's not speaking the civilian dialect yet.
That silence, by the way, is a robot. The applicant tracking system. If you've ever wondered why your stacked resume disappears into the void, it's because you're writing in military, not in keywords. ATS filters don't understand long-tabbed, barrel-chested, steely-eyed pipe hitter. Funny, that. They understand project management, risk assessment, stakeholder communication, inventory control, training delivery.
This is the exact moment where recognition of prior learning saves time and sanity. If you're listening in Australia, 3CIR can map your service against nationally recognised quals. You might already be sitting on a Cert 4 in project management or a diploma of leadership and management without sitting another exam. That gets you past the first gate, the robot. RPL turns your experience into the language the market hires in.
And it's not just the paper, right? It's the translation muscle. Our guy learned to say, Jack of all trades, master of the basics. That's not false modesty. It's clarity. Civvy World loves a specialist, but it hires generalists who can execute basics flawlessly. Start there. No? Take a mission you ran and convert it into the STAR method. Situation, task, action, result. Then tack on the competence it proves: risk assessment, logistics, stakeholder briefings, conflict management.
He didn't have that translation early on, so the job search stalled. Rejections piled up. Motivation slipped sideways, drinking, partying, looking for a fight at a bar instead of a challenge he could win. And then came a gut punch. Learning a former teammate died by suicide. That kind of news is a handbrake on your soul.
If that's you right now, press pause and hear this. You're not alone. None of us are. Camaraderie isn't a poster, it's the lifeline. Reach out to your mates, to Open Arms, to Lifeline, to your RSL, to us at 3CIR so we can connect you to the right support. Strength isn't doing it alone. It's doing what's needed to come home to yourself. And you are allowed to grieve, be angry, be confused. Just don't do it in a room by yourself with a bottle.
In the story, that anger turned inward. He felt like he'd abandoned his brothers, lost his purpose. He got short with everyone, grades slipped, relationships strained. If you've watched your life start fraying like that, here's the pivot point. Someone believed in him when he didn't. His fiancée drew the line with love and honesty. She didn't tolerate the rage, but she also didn't walk. Sometimes the mission is a two-person patrol.
And that's when he learned everyone needs help. That's recognition of prior learning for the soul. You recognize your past, then you accept the help that turns it into your future. And armed with that, he does something that sounds small but is massive. He reconstructs his future starting at Pizza Hut. No ego, no entitlement, no waiting for a perfect gig. He puts on an apron and works like a dog.
That humble start becomes momentum. He gets promoted to manager in weeks. Why? Basics. Show up on time, lead the team, fix the problem, build the process. That's what we mean by master of the basics. Then the compounding kicks in. He applies to the University of Houston's Bauer School of Business, gets in, moves home, reconnects with lifelong friends, and rebuilds his network intentionally.
And here's where that passive networking turns active. He leverages special forces groups on LinkedIn, lands a territory manager role with Rand Brands, simultaneously applies to the Wolf Center for Entrepreneurship, gets accepted, earns an internship from instructor recommendations, and because he's showing up with energy and execution, a classmate invites him to co-found an online retail business, Zodist.
That's the move. Translate your previous experience into current advantage. So many of you listening have command time, field time, deployment time that taught you exactly how to do resource-scarce problem solving, cross-functional communication, and adaptive planning. That is entrepreneurship. That is intrapreneurship inside any company. You just have to rename it.
Let's open the loop we promised earlier. The network, translate, iterate playbook. But first, a quick detour, because I can feel someone saying, mate, I'm not in the US, I'm not in Houston, I don't have an entrepreneurship program on my doorstep. You don't need it. You've got 3CIR. If you've served in Australia or in emergency services, or you're a civilian with years of on-the-job skill, RPL can fast-track you straight into a cert, diploma, or advanced diploma. Leadership, HR, WHS, security, business, marketing, government, project management. We've got course pathways and short videos that explain the whole map. You can watch quick explainers on leadership or WHS on our channel while you meal prep.
And if you're feeling the need to shift careers, that's a sign to listen, not a sign to panic. We've got resources on exactly that. How to spot the signs, modify your attitude for success, even what upskilling looks like in a market that changes every quarter. The lesson from our Green Beret mate is that career evolution is not a straight line. It's a series of sprints, plateaus, and pivots. You only need one foothold to get moving.
All right, the playbook. This is for the commuter who needs something to do the second the car parks.
Step 1. Network. Make it daily, make it light, make it consistent. Message one person in your community: military, police, ambos, fireys, tradies, classmates. Hey mate, saw you're in logistics now. Can I ask 3 questions about how you pivoted? Keep it easy to say yes to. And put 5 minutes in your calendar, recurring. That's passive networking turned active. Don't be the guy who only calls when he needs a job. Share an article, offer an intro, give values.
Step 2, translate. Pick one mission, one operation, one deployment milestone. Write one star story from it. Situation, task, action, result. Then line that story to a civilian skill cluster. Project management, safety compliance, stakeholder engagement, training and assessment, procurement, budgeting, incident response. This is where 3CIR's RPL assessment pays off because our assessors speak both languages and can tell you, hey, this course is already in you. We just need the evidence.
Step 3. Iterate. Test your resume on 3 jobs in slightly different industries. Yes, really. Government roles, logistics firms, and construction companies will read your profile differently. Adjust the keywords. If it's WHS, use hazard identification, root cause analysis, corrective action plans. If it's project management, use scope, schedule, budget, risk register. When the ATS spits you out for interviews, you've hit the phrasing sweet spot. And once you've got traction, double down on real conversations. Robots open the gate. People open the door.
Now, let's talk identity because there's a lot of you who feel like you have to lead with "I used to be special operations." That can land with a thud if the listener doesn't have your context. Our guy learned to swap the boast for a bridge. Jack of all trades, master of the basics. Then he adds proof. Here's how I set standards, led a team, and delivered under pressure. Civvy managers don't want to be impressed, they want to be reassured. Sound like calm competence and watch the room change.
Something else that stuck with me is how he kept driving on at each low point. That sounds macho until you see what it meant. It meant learning patience in a classroom that felt beneath him. It meant staring down the boredom without detonating his future. It meant staying in touch with teammates when he had 0 good news to share. It meant admitting he needed help when his fiancée called him on his crap. Driving on sometimes looks like humility, not heroics.
And then there's that rebuild sequence. Pizza joint, shift worker to manager, student to intern, intern to co-founder, co-founder to territory manager. There's a lesson there. Roles can overlap, and that's okay. You can be more than one thing at once. The trick is to learn how to prioritize energy and protect your mental health. If you're listening thinking, I've got bills though, cool. Start with the job that pays, then carve the hour that builds. You'll be surprised how fast the universe rewards honest effort.
Littler practical hits. For ATS, think like the machine. Use the job description's phrasing, not your creative synonyms. For interviews, don't monologue your deployments. Anchor your answer to the business outcome. What did you improve? How did you do it faster, safer, or cheaper? And if you've been out for a bit and feel stale, that's where quick upskilling pays. Micro-credentials, short courses, or an RPL pathway to a higher qualification. You don't need a 5-year plan, you need a 5-day action list.
We should also talk about respect. Our Green Beret mate felt disrespected in that classroom, and that's real. But look at how he won his respect back. By delivering. At Pizza Hut, he didn't demand it. He earned it. Then at the Wolf Center, he earned it again. If you're navigating a job where you feel undervalued, ask yourself, can I win here quickly? Can I ship results that make me undeniable? If yes, play the long game for 6 months. If no, pivot with purpose. 3CIR can help you pick the pivot. Security, WHS, HR, project management, government. There's a pathway that aligns with your hard-won skills.
That brings us to the heart of 3CR. Courage to face the blank page after discharge. Commitment to work on the basics when no one's clapping. Camaraderie to keep your mates close and ask for help. Integrity to own your story, the good and the ugly. Respect, both self-respect and the respect you give the people around you. Those aren't just values, they're navigation beacons when the fog rolls in.
Let's swing back to the networking piece for folks who feel allergic to it. Try this. Be a connector, not a collector. Introduce 2 people who should meet. I saw you're in WHS and my mate is building a safety program. Want me to intro you? Boom. That's social capital. Or share a 5-point debrief from your last project as a post. What went well, what didn't, what you'd do differently. That shows thinking. That's the vibe employers look for. You're signaling that you've got the fundamentals and the humility.
And if your confidence has taken a hit, the way our mates did when applications went dark and a tragedy struck, build it by stacking wins, the smallest ones. Make your bed, send the message, apply to the thing. Book the RPL assessment, go to the gym, and sweat out the ghosts. Momentum is a memory you have to remake every day.
Folks ask us all the time, what's the fastest way to move from where I am to a role that fits who I am? Here's a quick path. 1, do an RPL pre-check with 3CIR. 2, watch a couple of those short course videos to see what aligns with your interest. We've got fast explainers across leadership, HR, WHS, security, business, marketing, government, project management. 3, build a 2-page resume that speaks to the role you want, not the one you had. 4, find 5 people who do that role and ask for 15 minutes each. And 5, apply, iterate, and keep showing up.
Some of you are thinking, what about the gap on my resume when I was spiraling? Be honest without oversharing. In 2021, I took time to manage family and personal responsibilities. During that period, I completed 2 short courses and volunteered with X, where I honed Y. Then pivot back to your wins. You don't owe anyone your trauma on a first interview. You owe them your competence and your clarity.
I want to hit the trust without meeting point again because it's powerful. 2 former Special Forces guys who'd never shaken hands trusted each other because of the regiment. That's your reminder. Your uniform was not just a job, it was an initiation into a community. Use it. Not to ask for a free ride, but to lean on shared standards. When you tell another veteran you'll call at 1500 on Tuesday, call at 1500. When you say you'll send a brief, send it tight. That shared discipline creates opportunity across oceans.
And if you're in emergency services or a civilian who's been in the arena, same principle. Your shift work, your crisis management, your multi-agency coordination, they're communities with standards. Translate them. The market isn't going to research your job, you have to do the translation work. That's why 3CIR's assessors exist, to bridge that gap with precision.
A word on entrepreneurship too. Starting a business isn't magic, it's just controlled experiments. Our mate co-founded Zodist not by waiting for the perfect plan, but by saying yes to a chance and then shipping. If you're curious, start with a micro business or a side hustle. Validate something small. Learn your customer, your cost, your messaging. If you've run logistics in a hostile environment, you can handle a Shopify backend. And if you're more entrepreneurship inclined, aim for roles that let you build inside a bigger wall. Project coordinator, WHS officer, operations lead. Those are builder roles.
Let's get granular for a minute with translation examples. You ran a team of 8 in a field troop? That's workforce planning, task allocation, and performance coaching. You coordinated with local partners overseas? That's stakeholder engagement and cross-cultural communication. You wrote post-activity reports? That's incident reporting, lessons learned, and continuous improvement. You kept your team safe? That's WHS compliance, hazard mitigation, and emergency response planning. Now map those to real quals via RPL, and suddenly the ATS and the hiring manager both nod.
And yes, you can be proud of the tab, the rank, the medals. Just remember that civvy ears hear outcomes, not accolades. I led a technical selection under 72 hours, allocated resources across 4 sites, briefed the command element, and delivered without incident. That says more than I was elite. It says I'm reliable at scale.
Before we land the plane, let's address the elephant. What if I truly don't know what I want next? Start with what you know how to do, not how you feel. Do you like order and systems? Explore project management, government roles or operations. Like people and coaching? HR, training and assessment. Like safety, detail and process? WHS, like solving problems in the field? Logistics or security? Then test it. You don't need a forever answer, you need a next right step.
And give yourself permission to start at a Pizza Hut equivalent. Your first civilian job is not your final identity, it's an on-ramp. It teaches you the new rules of engagement, like how to talk to payroll and how to write an email that doesn't read like a fragmentary order. You'll be surprised how fast you move when your humility outruns your ego.
Quick recap of the story we built on today. A Green Beret thinks college will be easy. He is right academically, wrong emotionally. He stumbles through the job hunt, fights with algorithms, and drifts. A loss brings things into sharp relief. The person who loves him pulls him back to himself. He rebuilds in the simplest arena available, stacking small wins. He leans into his network, says yes to opportunities, and suddenly he's a student, a manager, an intern, a territory manager, a co-founder. He translates his past into his present, and every step of the way, he learns a new piece of the same lesson. Drive on doesn't mean drive alone.
And to our listeners, if any piece of that sounded like your reflection, take one step today, book an RPL chat with 3CIR, watch one of our quick videos on leadership or WHS or project management, message one person who's done the move you want to do. The rest will follow if you keep stepping.
We'll drop a ton of topics to explore on our site, If you're sniffing change, check the signs you need to shift careers. If you feel your attitude needs a tune-up, we've got attitude modification for success. Curious about business management? There's a path to upgrade that. Want to understand how to hit the Australian job market without getting ghosted? We've got practical guides. We'll also map your service straight into a qualification so you don't start at zero.
And because we love a real tool, check out the quick video library on leadership, HR, WHS, security, business, marketing, government, and project management. Think of them as mission briefs for your next role, 10 minutes that shave 10 months off the hard way.
Final word from me. If you're hurting, reach out. If you're bored, level up. If you're lost, start small. Courage, commitment, camaraderie, integrity, respect, that's your compass. We've got your back at 3CR, from RPL assessments to online quals that slide into your life without breaking it.
Next episode, we're diving into continual learning, not the boring kind, the in the trenches, stackable, career-proof kind, how to keep your edge sharp without burning out or going broke. Bring your notebook, bring your questions, and bring your curiosity.
I'm Slate, he's Jury. Look after each other, keep the basics tight, and don't forget to send that one message today. We'll see you in the next one.